I've been seeing that Tracy Ellie Ross was doing videos with her computer, and this is actually a habit that I have for a long time, since a long time. And now I just decided that I'm going to post on TikTok, on YouTube, because I don't care. I genuinely don't care about how I'm being perceived externally. So if I just want to do something, I'm going to do it, no matter what people are thinking. Anyway, so I'm going to freestyle on a topic, and the topic of today is education and how education can actually free you as a woman, and why you should strive to be educated, and why being educated should be one of your first goal in life. So I am currently reading this book, which has been written by an Andalu author and philosopher called Ibn Baga, and it talks about how to behave when you're lonely, and there are all through the text about God, about intellect, about education. But this is actually pretty complicated book, and this is my second time reading it because I just love this book so bad. I remember I was looking for this book when I was 17, 18, and I saw the price of the book. Basically, it's 46 euros. And I was like, I cannot put 46 euros in a book. This is not possible, but I still want to read it. So I've been looking for this book for in every type of libraries, and I was like, I want this book, I want this book, I want this book. And I manifested this book, and basically now I have it. Now I have sorry, I received a message. Now I have it. I found it in the nearest library, the library that is like next to my home, and I found it, so I decided to borrow it, and I'm reading it for the second time. So in this topic, I will talk about education and how education can free you as a woman, because I believe that in this patriarchy, in this society, the best way to actually coerce a woman physically and mentally is by starving her from knowledge and education in general. And in order to illustrate this point, I'm going to use example of my life, okay? So I come from a very educated background, thanks God, because my father always made sure that I was reading a lot. So I sort of developed this habit since I am a little woman, and I was reading a lot of books. I was reading books about everything, and I remember when I could not go to the library, I was reading the decoration books of my parents. So basically, we had a collection of Jules Verne books, like the red books, and I was just reading them because I was like starving, and I was so hungry of food for the brain, you see. So I was just reading these books, and I've been very curious. And the more I was reading, the more I wanted to know more about my world, people in general, because I wasn't really able to go out. I wasn't able to talk to other people, like socially speaking, physically speaking, and I wasn't really able to just have like friends who were thinking like me. So in order to escape from this environment, I was reading a lot of books and fantasizing a lot about the life that I actually want to have because of that. And not that now, sorry, that I am growing. I'm just realizing that in and actually helped me in my life to reinforce my self-identity and the things that I want in life, the things that I actually don't want in life. So yes, that's why I started to read, and that's how I started to read actually. So the more I was reading fictions and non-fictions, the more I was combining them too in order to create my own personal world. And I just realized that it actually contributes a lot to my self-concept, because I was realizing that my mind was unique in the examples that it was using to illustrate some points. Unique is in my references too. Unique in everything, actually, everything. And now I'm going to talk about boys, because those are not men, they are boys. I realized something. When you happen to be a black girl, and I put an emphasis with on the word black girl with knowledge, I realized that some men who actually don't have this knowledge can feel frightened by that and afraid, and their defense mechanism is trying to humble you. Okay? How they are going to humble you? They are going to humble you by actually showing you that what you're doing isn't right, what you're doing is weird, what you're doing is wrong. Okay? And the more I was growing, the more I was thinking about this one book, this book in particular. So the book has been written by Bourdieu, Pierre Bourdieu, and he was talking about social class and status. And I realized that the more I was talking to people who actually don't come from a very educated background, the more I was saying that they were being insecure in their masculinity because of that, and the more they were trying to humble me and put me down, put me at my place, so-called place of woman, you see. I had, I think, more than 3 experiences like that. So they were explaining to me that I should not study. They were explaining to me that I should marry them very soon and just be an at-home wife, have kids very early. Mind you, I am in my 20s, and that's, yeah, I will be able to do all that, but just, for them, not for me, not for the world, and not for a higher purpose. And I'm just grateful because I always knew that those guys were a threat to my life and to my goals and to my purpose. So when I was feeling this sentiment of being humbled for what I'm doing, I was like, okay, you need to take a step back and you need to realize that these guys are actually not the type of guys you actually want to be with. And it saved me from so much situation, because some guys were actually extremely direct in their way of criticizing me, but I just realized that in a way they were in admiration for what I was doing, because you cannot criticize somebody so much because they're working hard, studying hard, reading hard, and they're like being they're making their top tier, their first obligation being educated, you see. So I remember that some of them were calling me, um, were like mocking me for being productive, which is actually ridiculous. And some of them were like mocking me for um, the way I was talking, trying to say that I was pretending being educated, while actually I wasn't, and I never pretend to be educated, because when you were born into that, you just like act. This is your habitus. Like people just say it. This is your habitus. Like I don't pretend that I love reading book. I just love reading book, and I see the art of reading book as a habit, like a normal habit. I don't pretend that I love doing side quests, such as playing basketball and then learning how to swim, and then learning how to write, and then learning new languages such as English, and then decided to, I don't know, I just play golf. Like I don't care. This is just a side quest for me. I don't try to social climb. I don't try to embody the persona of a person who uh, actually comes from a higher status, social status than me. I don't care about that. I'm just saying things as facts because I don't come from a group, a social group. I wasn't born in a social group. I was born mostly alone. Like I had friends when I was a little girl, but because I was changing school, I didn't have the ability and the possibility to create real bonds with people, with friendships, deep friendships. It was always with every type of people, but at the surface, you see. So it was never really that deep. So yeah, um, and yeah, I've been criticized by men because of that. But I just realized that the more men from higher status, social status, were talking to me, the less I was seeing those patterns of trying to belittle me or trying to humble me, because they tend to be actually secure in their masculinity, and they understood in a way that education and being with an educated woman is actually a social asset and not a threat. Okay, so my points while talking about education and um, why as a woman you should try to learn more, know more, is that education will actually free you and free your mind, and will help you to understand how who you are as a woman, who you are as a social being, what you want, what you don't want, and maybe even put some images, some dreams in your head. For example, I have this book written by Toni Morrison. In this book, she was talking about a black woman who was having a very dark skin color, and how she was just succeeding in life. I remember that I was reading that she was driving a very good car. She was owning a company, a skincare company or a makeup company, something like that. And I remember I was on the treadmill and I was reading this book, and I almost wanted to cry. I almost wanted to cry because of this book, because I was just thinking, okay, she is writing for me, and she is talking about words that I can create actually. So by just reading this book in general, I just told myself that it was possible for me to build the life that I always wanted to have. I mean, why not? Why not, actually? So, yeah. And now I'm just making this a top tier priority for me, being educated, trying to learn more every day, try to use perfectly the time that God is giving to me. And I believe that you should do the same thing. You should do the same thing as a woman, because it will just free you, and it will help you to notice some patterns about men in general, in order to protect you from some men that are actually dangerous. It will help you to be literate, have a good knowledge, be curious, cure a lot of things in your mind. Like for me, it was isolation, and reading books has been my solution to isolation. So yeah, just books, read books, watch documentaries, write about yourself, about the world that you actually want to have. Write about what you want to have later in your life. Write about what you don't want to have. Write about your future husband. Write about your dream life. Write about your perfect self-concept, your perfect personal. Write about what is happening in your country. What is happening in the world. You can write about anything, actually. Anything. And you see that the more you will do that, the more you will just aim to be the greatest, aim to reach the best version of yourself. And this is something that I'm feeling right now in my life. I just feel like I don't want to sleep too much on the things that I should do, and I just want to act. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm grateful, and I go to the gym, and I eat right, and I read a lot, and I talk to people, and I learn a lot, and I study, and I'm just so proud of that. Like, it actually creates a sort of freedom in my life, and I am proud of this freedom. I actually like it. I like it so bad. So yeah, girls, please, I'm begging you, educate yourself. Educate yourself, learn about your world, be curious, stay sharp, because you will see that by being like that, you will be able to attract the best in your life. The best. Trust me.